For some people, James Gunn's Superman was a fresh new start, and for others, it was already the beginning of the end. Hey y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. It's been a little over a month since the release of James Gunn's Superman, otherwise known as the basically reboot point for the DCU. And even though there was so much riding on this one and so many people were really hoping to see a unanimous success, unfortunately fan receptions are divided. On the one hand, there are people that have treated the new Superman film like the second coming of Christ. I love James Gunn's sense of humor. James Gunn is the new King of Kings. This movie saved my life. The f***ing dog cured my depression. And then you have folks that think this movie sucked, I hate James Gunn and his sense of humor, and I hate this version of Superman. It's a pretty divisive movie. I mean, I think it's really hard to find people who speak on a middle ground about anything these days, but when it came to Superman, the fights online were worth getting popcorn and pay-per-view for. When it comes to a character like Superman, there is so much legacy that basically any new version of the character is challenged by. Superman, regardless of your personal preference, I've never been a big Superman fan, but Superman isn't just any superhero. He's kind of the superhero. Historically, Donner's Superman was hopeful and inspiring, which in my opinion is what Superman has always been in the comics. And then we went on to Zack Snyder's Superman, who was incredibly polarizing because they took a way more grounded, dark, kind of brooding version of Superman. And to be completely honest, even though I don't like Zack Snyder and I hated the Snyderverse, these two versions of Superman each have their merit to a certain extent. Donner's Superman is almost universally liked. Zack Snyder's Superman is definitely not. And so for years, audiences have been waiting for a Superman that, much like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, would feel just right. And to be quite honest, I feel like we're tasting a whole lot of porridge, but I don't think I found the porridge that tastes just right, or the chair that's the right size, or the bed that's the right size. I'm still just walking around this Bear's house looking for a Superman that works. James Gunn's Superman was probably under the most pressure that a superhero movie has ever been under. And for that reason, I honestly feel kind of bad for it. I don't feel bad for him because I don't even need to get into all the reasons or tweets for why I dislike James Gunn. I've been over it enough times on this channel. But the point is that James Gunn's Superman film was really up shit's creek on this one.
We'll get into that in just a minute. First, here's a word from this video's sponsor.
You know, I don't think I've hyped up Avon enough recently. Avon is pioneering fitness entertainment. With Avon, you can play, race, compete, and stream your way to your fitness goals. By blending exercise with the excitement of gameplay, Avon's mission is to put an end to boring workouts and make fitness fun. So what I'm currently sitting on here is the Avon Strong Rower, but they've also got a bike and a treadmill if that's what suits your fancy. See, Avon is designed to keep you coming back for more. It's built on game psychology and backed by science, which means it basically almost tricks me into wanting to work out. And not just working out, but having fun with it. I have to show you some of these games. In this one, I quite literally have to fight to survive waves of alien invasions. And the only way to knock these guys out is by rowing. As you can see, I've gotten pretty good at it. Boom. And this one is basically Pong, except the way to hit the ball is by rowing. And if you've got a little bit of a competitive streak, Avon knows all about that. They've got leaderboards that not only let you track your own progress, but you can also see how you stack up against other people on the same games, you know, for a little friendly competition. So if you're looking to up your workout game, Avon is exactly what you're looking for. They have their best prices on their products going on right now, and you can get an extra $50 off your purchase when you use code J50. Scan the the code or click the link in the description below. But they did hit on some good points. David Corran Sweat does make a really good Superman and Clark Kent visually, and James Gunn, over the years leading up to this Superman film, and over the years leading up to him being inexplicably handed the keys to the DCU entirely, managed to position himself as the guy who both delivers what the critics need and knows what the fans want. This DC reboot under the James Gunn flag was framed as a clean slate. We left behind Zack Snyder's brooding Superman, his unfinished terrible plans with a Batman that had no backstory and was poorly executed from the beginning. I'm so sorry, Ben Affleck, you deserved better. A boring Aquaman, a borderline irrelevant cyborg, a Wonder Woman with the acting skills of a plastic Tupperware filled with slowly rotting chicken. All of that we managed to liberate ourselves from right with the release of this new Superman. And so the expectations were huge. We wanted this film. James Gunn's new Superman was supposed to unite the fandom and stabilize the franchise. And then, you know, as things happen, we hit some bumps in the road. The trailers and early reactions were early warning signs, omens to some of us that are not particularly big fans of James Gunn's style. His fingerprints were all over the earliest trailers of this film, with his shaky camera work, his misguided funny dialogue, and of course the colorful ensemble cast, because James Gunn cannot resist to not do the merry gang of misfits in every superhero movie he touches. For some, admittedly, this was a refreshing change from Zack Snyder's heaviness. There are a lot of people that really like what James Gunn does with movies. And this Superman, this James Gunn Superman, is an incredibly James Gunny Superman. And so for some, this version of the character kind of undermined that almost mythic stature Superman has had in the minds of a lot of people for years. And I would say that despite these more polarizing opinions, there are a lot of people that kind of rode that middle line on meh. Then of course you have the culture war factor, which is literally at the forefront of almost every single piece of content we see nowadays. Some people praised James Gunn's social commentary and modern values and some of his political stances that are very clear in the film, while others felt that political aspects were too on the nose and that the movie at some points felt lectury. And so when you look at it, you take a step back and you really evaluate the situation, the fan base is already fractured and like smoldering, because people can't take different opinions on anything, not even superhero nonsense anymore. Forget politics. I get why people get insane about politics. But this is literally just, I like this movie or I didn't like this movie. The cinders were simmering there. And then James Gunn came in and just dumped the fucking fuel on the fire. When we look at a film that's already this divisive, if it was a film in an already established cinematic universe, which I hate that everything is a cinematic universe these days, but that's where we're at. If it was already just an installment in a bigger cinematic universe and people liked it or hate it, it is what it is. But this was set to relaunch the entire thing. This fingerprint that is on this film is going to be the same fingerprint that is on Supergirl, that is on Batman, the new Batman, the Brave and the Bold, which is somehow happening at the same time as the Batman 2, but I'm not even gonna get into that. I mean, this is the style. Forget it. It's going to permeate every single movie in the DCU moving forward. And so if you're one of the people that feels like Superman stumbled, then the entire universe that this DCU is being built on feels shaky. The tone, the feeling, everything is going to automatically be called into question based on what they did with this movie, which is more criticism and more writing on a movie than there really should be ever. The first phase of Marvel was basically built on curiosity and general fan goodwill, because we really hadn't seen any of this before and we were curious about it. But DC, the new DCU, is starting from a point lower than that because we already saw what they did with the other DCU and then they threw it all away, and now we have to see what they do with this one. So they're already starting being challenged by us. And so Superman, where it should have united the fans under one red, blue, and gold Boy Scout banner, and we really should have learned that kindness is the new punk rock, instead it split us almost right down the middle. The optimists cry tears of finally a Superman full of color, heart, optimism, and the world's worst dog. Then you've got another group, the skeptics, that feel like this was Marvel-style humor and shallow spectacle, all wrapped up under the idea of this is our new hopeful Superman, let down by the reality. And then you've got another group, which is even smaller and probably didn't even buy tickets to watch this, who are completely burned out and don't trust DC anymore. And the result is division instead of unification. And so maybe it's the nature of the times that we're living in today, because as I mentioned on a few points earlier in the video, I think we're kind of at a point where people are willing to be divided over everything and anything. It's not just political, but preferences in shoes and opinions about things. People are so willing to divide themselves, to become polarized, to become angry, to become hateful. And so when you look at a film like Superman, it's not Superman's fault, and it's not the job of Superman to establish and unite the fandom. But the fact of the matter is that a lot was riding on this Superman, and had it been better, sure, at the end of the day, better is a relative term. I didn't like the movie, so I'm gonna have my opinion on it. I'm sure a lot of people, including some of my friends, think it couldn't have possibly been any better. Superman generally could and should be the hero that unites us, but it feels like every single version we get of this guy just divides people further. Again, maybe that's human nature, maybe we're all just looking for things to be outraged about, but maybe it's not so much angry fans. Maybe the studios and the writers and the directors no longer know what the character should stand for. That's just me thinking out loud though. And that's all for me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram. And if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I'll add links to all of those in the description below. And let me know if you think James Gunn's Superman is the big fix that the DCU needs, or if it's just another misstep in the comments below.